Hi guys and welcome to Throwzone.com. This is Mohit Soni. What is in front of you is the brand new Hyundai Verna for the year 2023. It's an entirely new generation, new design, new interior, new exteriors, slightly new platform as well, and the powertrains have been revised altogether. We've finally driven the Verna for almost 600 kilometers plus to tell you what is it like. We've done a fuel efficiency test and we've driven it extensively over city roads, highways, ghats, and done a full passenger test as well. What have we concluded? Well, let's find out. And as always, let's begin with the design. What you can see in front of you is something that you will like and not like. But if you look at it in person, just like how we did over the last week, we think that this design does look very futuristic, because we've seen pictures of not just the Verna but the Elantra and Sonata globally as well, and all those vehicles are now in sync with the new design. So something that is international, something that is being globally sold, is also sold in India. That does create an impression of the car, and it is in line with Hyundai's global design language as well. So this is not something that is made for India specifically. This is for the entire world, and something that will look futuristic to a lot of people, but some people will be miss the traditional headlamps and the LED DRLs within them, and this is sort of a SUV inspired design where the LED DRLs and the headlamps are different, and of course the LED DRLs are at the top, the headlamps are at the lower end, and they are all LED units. There is no projectors in them. At the front you get parking sensors as well. The turn indicator surprisingly is not an LED unit, it's a bulb unit, and you get the new Hyundai logo, the power lines on the bonnet. And coming to the side profile, again it is an entirely new car. Just look at that C-pillar design. It reminds you of a car from the very past. At the same time, with all these other lines together, it's looking really futuristic. The alloy wheels continue to be in a typical Hyundai tradition, where they are multi-spoke units and they have been designed in a completely different way altogether. Coming to the back, again a much different look than we all expected. A sort of a notchback design with a LED bar and a crystallized effect for the tail lamps, along with the LED bar that is running all along. Looks very futuristic. The rear is of course very flat, and that is also a sort of a remembrance from the past, but at the same time it looks very futuristic with the elements all around, and at the lower end you can also see these crystallized effects for the rear part of the bumper. You can see there is reflectors as well, and overall a car that is very futuristic and slightly radical, however you want to put it. We think it'll take some time getting used to, but when you do, you'll realize that you have something very sporty as well as futuristic, something that is going to last for a long time, because as the world advances ahead with many things in line with the technology and design aspects, this is going to look futuristic and in sync with today's time really well, in the digital times that we are living in. Of course you get red calipers only at the front. At the back you are getting disc brakes, which is a welcome move, but surprisingly the disc brakes calipers are not painted red. What is on the inside? Well, let's get inside and see this huge grab handle with keyless entry and go. There's the key button just in case your key fails, and that is the interior of the car. The new logo is present on the steering wheel as well. That is the new engine start stop button. Auto start stop is here, traction control button is here. That is the hood release, and the new 2-spoke steering wheel does look really nice. And that is the instrument cluster in front of you, and it is very similar to the past, but then again you can go through a lot via this button here. So yeah, these are the kind of features you get. You press a OK button and you can see all the features are come here, because this is the part where you can change the ADAS settings. And here as well, if you press this button, it toggles between these buttons and the AC. Go inside the star button, which you can customize, and we've kept it for ADAS features. And as you can see, there's a lot of ADAS features on offer with this car, almost 22, and this is quite impressive to have. You have forward collision warning, rear collision warning, and rear safety assist, where it helps you back out from a space, and if something is coming in between, it will stop the car, it will brake for you. So that is also really impressive. And those are the heating options and cooling options for the ventilated seats, which is impressive. You've got a wireless charger here. You've got charging points as well. You've got cup holders here, which can fold like this and open like this, so that's really impressive to have some space. Under armrest storage is bare minimum, and the glove box is also a small size, but it is a cool unit for sure. As you can see, that is the dial, how you close it. Door pads are just about okay as well. You've got the IRVM here with all the SOS and connectivity features that are on offer, and it's the Blue Link system basically, and you get the button here for towing as well if you want to tow your car. You've got a small size sunroof here which lends up a lot of light inside the cabin. You've got height adjustable seat belts. These seats here on the driver's side are powered partially. The height adjustment is manual, everything else is powered, so that is something great. At the same time convenient, because height is not changed every day. You might change the the other aspects so that are powered, and that I think is quite convenient enough. You've got these red stripes on the AC. What you see here is these claw-like ambient light that is on offer, that runs throughout the cabin, and you can see it in the day here as well. It looks pretty nice. There are endless colors to choose from as well, so that is pretty impressive to have. You can already see the stitching, contrast stitching for these black seats. I told you about the seats, they are heated and cooled, so that is really impressive to have. Here you've got a very good touchscreen as always. Response, touch, feel, fonts and everything else is pretty impressive, and you've got a lot of features on offer. The Bose sound system is good enough, and wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is still missing on this car, and like I said, the touch responses, everything is good. It works really well. You've got this button here which changes everything. Usually there was a setting which could have been done inside, but Hyundai is now incorporated it as a button, so everybody's noticing it, but that feature has always been there in the Hyundai. We've got paddle shifters as well with this 1.5 turbo automatic, which I'll explain how is it to drive in the next coming minutes. And you've got electronic parking brake and auto hold, which is a purely luxury car feature that is made it to this car. You've got these sporty pedals on the 1.5 turbo as well. Similar switchgear is on offer, and yeah, these lights are sort of inspired by the BMW. These lines here are pretty much BMW like, surprisingly very similar to them. And the most important part, of course, is never been the cockpit side of the Verna, which has always been impressive. Look at this. The command, the space you're getting here is very good. Legroom is good, knee room is stupendously good. You've got a storage space here, AC points, and you've got charging points, and a space to keep something here, and a lot of space is what is new on the Verna, and as you can see, there's a lot of it here. Headroom is also quite generous, and you can have 3 people almost here. It has more width than before as well. Something that we've complained about in the past is seen here now, and door pads at the back are just about okay. You can house a big bottle, and that is it, nothing more. Again, quality is good. This could have been soft touch material, or here it's not here, surprisingly. So Hyundai has sort of skimped on it. There is just a plastic piece. Usually there is this soft touch part extends all the way till here, but it's only seen till here. And yeah, that's a bit of cost cutting, but apart from that, the interior is quite impressive. Fit finish quality is good. Feature list is of course extensive, that I told you about. And yeah, let's check out the boot of the Verna, which is also very impressive. Almost 500 liters plus. This is a lot of space. Check that out. You can store a lot of things inside this boot in any fashion, in fact vertically or horizontally. You've got front parking sensors, rear sensors, and a camera. Pretty much standard throughout the variants. If you want to understand the variants, we've done a variant article on our website to have a look into it. And yeah, that is it for now. We've explained you what the interior and exterior is going to like. Let's find out how does it drive. So what is the Verna Turbo 1.5 automatic like to drive? Well, this engine makes 160 PS of power to 16 Nm of torque, and it is made to a 7-speed gearbox, which is quick, fast, and quite responsive even at the low end, and that makes it quite a responsive car at low end and mid range. With the torque being very good as well in the lower end, you get fantastic drivability in the city. Even with part throttle or bare minimum throttle inputs, you will be moving ahead. You don't need to stomp on the accelerator or use more of it. With bare minimum inputs, you will find the drivability to be very impressive. In fact, if you put a bit more throttle, the wheel starts screeching, and if you do a hard launch, you'll realize that it even screeches his wheel in second and third gear. gear. So that's the kind of low end and mid range stock you're getting on the car. Top end is very good as well. It reaches 140 150 kilometers on unrestricted segments very easily, so you will have to be mindful of that if you have speed cameras in your area. And like I said, we are impressed with the gearbox, we are impressed with the drivability and the performance that is on offer, and the car definitely feels very easy to drive because of that, because the NVH is good, the drivability is good, the performance is good, and the gearbox also leaves no room for complaint. What is there for complaint, of course, are the tires and the brakes. I think despite dual disc brakes, the car doesn't brake that efficiently and that quickly. And because when we braked hard, we realized that there is some room for better performance from the brakes. And if you're an enthusiast, you should wait, because the N-line variant might be coming in very soon, which will get much better brakes, suspension and tires. And or else, if you have gone with it, or if you plan to go with it because it's a primary car, I would recommend that you get better brake pads for this car, because stopping power will definitely become much better. And let's talk about suspension. Well, Hyundai's gotten it right very well, because low end, while at slow speeds and medium speeds, the ride quality is really impressive. Vertical movements are bare minimum. When we realized that the air pressures are lower, we went ahead and filled the air pressures, and realized that the ride quality became much flatter over that bad section of road where we previously judged the car. And so the car is very susceptible to air pressures, and I think you should keep it around the 34 to 35 psi mark for better ride quality as well, because post that the car was riding flat almost on every single surface, be it on the concrete road, be it on the tarmac road, patchy road, bad roads. The ride became so much better. It became, that bit of vertical movement also was gone. So that is really impressive with Hyundai, because they worked on the suspension. It works really well. Surprisingly, it is susceptible to air pressures very much, which is not usually the case with all cars, and the Verna is surprising, one of those old school cars which is very susceptible to lower air pressure, and you will immediately understand that aspect. In fact, this car is new to us as well, and we've understood that aspect, so I think you will also do that, and you should keep that in mind. Steering, very good feedback. It's very light and precise. Feedback is also quite good. It doesn't feel horribly artificial like some other rivals or previous Hyundais. It feels much better than before, and it inspires you to push harder. But when you do that, you realize that there is body roll in the car, and that could have been better. But of course, it is well in check. It feels safe. You can push the car much better, much higher than before, and you will have a good time with this car, because the kind of performance it has, you will push it harder, and you will realize that the car does bring a smile on your face. Because the gearbox is also good, the drivability throughout the rev range is very impressive, and then you have ADAS features on offer in this Verna, which are there are 22 features. So right from forward and rear collision warnings to reversing and safety warnings, and everything is on offer with this car. We've tested it out, and it braked while we were reversing, it braked when it attempted a forward collision warning, and there is cross mitigation as well. So it beeps a lot if all the settings are on, and if you live in a city which is not that crowded, well, then you can use the ADAS features all the time, or else you might switch some of them off. So that is the ADAS features list, which is pretty impressive and big. Ride quality is better, steering is better, brakes and tires of course can be better, the engine is refined and it is drivable and it has good performance. So with the space, with the features, with the new design, everything has been revised in the new Verna. It definitely begs your attention this time, because everything from the previous car has been sorted in this one, and it is finally up to the mark in this category when it comes to every single aspect. And that is why we highly recommend that you have a look at the Verna. It will impress you quite a lot. And if you have any doubts when it comes to comparing it with other cars, we will have a comparison up for you very soon on our website and on the YouTube channel. So subscribe to us, follow on our website for everyday updates, on our social media as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and share this video. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.